I know, that's what I mean. So how are you going to play it to this?
Good morning. What a beautiful day. Every day is beautiful, correct. Well, good morning and welcome to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Please take this opportunity to turn off any electronic devices in your possession, and that's all the way off, please. And then say hi to your neighbor, especially someone you don't know. Maybe you haven't met that glorious manifestation of God sitting next to you. We here at the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living honor each and every one of you, wherever you are on your spiritual path. And we believe that there are infinite paths to, but indeed, only one God. The words to this morning's chant will be up here on the wall, followed by a spiritual mind treatment by our community spiritual leader, Reverend Karyl Huntley.
I surrender my life to the love of God. I surrender my life to the love of God. And I let it all go, and I let it all be. I surrender my life to the love of God. I surrender my life to the love of God. I surrender my life to the love of God.
For those of you that I have not met yet, and I want to remedy that by the end of this service today, I want to acknowledge that I sound a little different. I have experienced a cold this last week, and I want you to know that I feel fine, and if I squeak singing, that's the reason, so don't feel bad for me. I feel great for myself, I'm telling you. And I also want to thank you for being here, those of you who will be watching the game later on today and, not fixing nachos or something, at the time for coming to service. So thank you very much. So let's move into... No, it's not. Okay. All right, we're going to pray now. Okay, so I take this moment of infinite privilege to speak a word of truth for myself and everyone here. I know that the infinite presence of God is right here and everywhere. I know that this life that is divine is infinitely wise and infinitely capable. I know that this energy pervades the entire universe, known and unknown. I know that there is nothing but the order, the beauty, the intelligence, the love, the forms, and the creative capacity of that which I call God. Known by many names, it is the pattern that connects everything. And so I am a part of it. I have to be. I am a part of all that is. And each one here is as well. We are all united in that one holy pattern. And as I move into this day of beauty and glory, this day of health and abundance, this day of love and order and creative capacity, I know that I am divinely blessed, divinely guided and led and supported to co-create with that presence whatever it is that is mine to create. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each one here. I know that each one of us is on a divine path. And as we recognize the path, and as we consciously surrender to that path, as we surrender to the love of God, as we just sang, we are divinely supported and guided into the next and the next and the next step. For what it is that we have to give is immensely important. It is essential. It is essential to the evolution of life on earth. And so my prayer this morning is that for myself and everyone here, we don't hold back. I declare that I am dedicated to the path that I am living. It is holy, sacred. I am supported in it. It is valuable, and people's lives change for the better because of it. And if it is true for me, it is true for each one here. And so I lovingly support each person to say yes to their own life path today. And if this is a brand new idea for some people, hallelujah, you are hearing the truth now. And so as I release this word into the law, I know that there is that tickling of each little toe in this community, the sap rising in us to be and do and create that which is ours to do. I release this now, and it is done. And so it is. Amen.
Amen.
Woo! Okay. So this morning we have Sechko and Mies as our musical team, and I'd like to. We think we know these guys really well, right? I mean, they're here like every month or 6 weeks together. Bodhi's here most Sundays, but I'd just like to formally say that Bodhi Sechko and Stephen Mies have been performing together for over 20 years. On March 9th, you can see them in concert with a full band and a video light show to celebrate Bodhi's 60th birthday. Woohoo! The new 35. And Jennifer Barazan will be appearing as a special guest, and you can support this event by purchasing advance tickets or becoming a sponsor to help realize the vision of this concert of a lifetime. Please welcome Sechko and Mies.
Opened up my pocketbook from time to time. I ask a lot of questions and I've read so many books. Going within is the best place to look. Softly, stillness speaks. Softly, stillness teaches me. Running on the beach, walking down the road, breathing deep to ease the load. opened up my pocketbook from time to time.
I ask a lot of questions and I've read so many books.
Going within is the best place to look. Softly, stillness speaks. Softly, stillness teaches me. Softly, stillness speaks. Softly, stillness teaches me.
Thank you, Stephen Lee.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. It is my great pleasure to give the announcements today, and we always start our announcements out with gratitude, so I don't want Bodhi to go away too far. Don't go walk away, Bodhi. Because today our gratitude is for the music and the music department and the sound team here at Golden Gate, because I think really it is the music that opens the heart wide to prepare for the message and inspiration that comes through the other parts of the service. So if you've ever sung here, if you've ever played here, if you've ever helped out with the music or with the sound setup or whatever it takes to bring that inspiration, please rise.
Yeah.
Today is for you. Now, this is also the time when we usually send our children off, but we can see that they're all preparing for a game today. So that doesn't mean there aren't any children in the room, right? We're all here. We all come with that childlike heart in our own being. Just like each and every athlete on that field today, one time had a childhood dream of going to the Super Bowl. And the coaches had a dream of going to the Super Bowl. And when they were children, they probably sat on their dad's laps and cheered with their mothers, thinking about this possibility. And so let this day with them on the field be an inspiration to you that you can return to that child heart at any moment, at any time, envision a new possibility. And your Father, Mother, God, Spirit, just like the two coaches' parents are there, cheering on regardless of which team wins, you too can win. So just go within and think about what your dream is today. Now, the announcements. We have classes. And one of the classes is about change. So if that was a little bit hard for you to think about how could I vision something new, how can I change, how can I deal in the situation of change, Marilyn Letsos is offering a class on change. And I'm going to have Posey come up. And Posey is going to announce her class.
Good morning. So one of my very favorite classes to teach here is spiritual practices. And I was just looking at the description here, and I'll read the first sentence. One of the sweetest joys in life is stepping into that sacred space, drawing healing waters from the well, and being nourished by a communion with Spirit. And that's why I love teaching this class. Does anybody in this room ever have resistance to a daily spiritual practice? Anybody else? Okay. Nobody. Okay. Well, I'll just say sometimes I do. And the other reason I love teaching this class is I get to go deeper along with all of the students. And the other thing is I've talked to many people who've said, well, I can't stick to a practice or I haven't found the practice for me. Well, this is the class where you practice about 10 different meditation practices throughout the 10 weeks and get to try them on. We teach you how to go deeper into using spiritual mind treatment to really, really begin to take co-creation with spirit of your life. Your life begins to change. My life always changes whenever I'm teaching this class. So I invite you to come play with me and experience that joy of going deeper into that conscious connection with co-creating your life with that indwelling presence, which some people, including me, call God. So please sign up today. We're going to start the class not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. Thanks.
Thank you, Posey. And Posey, there's a prerequisite to that class, right? So to take spiritual practices, the place you start is with Foundations class. And Foundations is this beginning spot if you want to learn about what Science of Mind teaches and how to incorporate this in your life so that you can affect change for yourself. And that's starting with Karyl, and you can also sign up for that. Oh, see, there's change amidst. Karyl has always taught it before, but we have Francine teaching it this term, and it's on Thursday nights, so you can sign up for it as well. And now for a gratitude of what comes out of taking these classes, what comes out of doing spiritual practices, and what is a part of being a part of community, I would like to invite up Hillary Kane, who has something to share with you.
Good morning. Last August, I was diagnosed with stage 2 cancer, lymphoma. This Monday, my doctor told me that I am cancer-free. Thank you. I'm up here to thank everybody in this church who generously shared their support. People prayed for me. People talked to me in this church asking me how I was. People brought food to me, gave rides to me. I was so supported by this whole community. Practitioners called me up day in and day out and prayed for me. There was just so much support, and God supported me through this whole process. God's life is truly my life. Thank you very much.
So the gratitude today could have equally been to everyone in this community and to our heart-to-heart team. So if you find yourself in a need, please remember that we have a heart-to-heart team, and it's behind the corner. It says heart-to-heart. Just let us know what's going on in your life so your community can support you. Now, coming up, we have an opportunity for a free class. It's called The Nuts and Bolts of Estate Planning, and it will be with a lawyer to help you with this process. It's going to be held at the Corte Madera Town Center upstairs, and it's in the lower corner of your bulletin. So remember that there's always more announcements here than can come up on the stage, but the details are right there. Now, I think today probably Karyl is going to have a ritual, and this ritual anyone can participate in without advance notice. But we have a very important ritual coming up on February 14th, Valentine's Day, that is a Valentine's ritual for everyone. It is for committed couples. It is for singles. It is for those people that have something on their heart that is unhealed about relationships, and it is for those people that are in joyful exuberance about their relationships. If you want to participate in the ritual on February 14th, you need to let us know ahead of time because there's preparations and things that need to be purchased. So please sign up on the 10th, right here. Gail's doing, I've got a little Vanna over here. Her name's Gail, right down at this table, correct? So the ceremony's on the 10th. Oh, so you have to sign. I was confused. I saw the March 10th. I thought, well, that was the day they had to sign up by. Okay, so the sign up is today. Don't leave without it. Sign up over here so that the ceremony is next week. Thank you for the correction. It takes a community. And now I'd like to invite Karyl up to do an announcement.
I'll finish it up, yeah. Let me just say about the commitment ceremony. If you're in a committed couple and want to renew your vows, you sign up. Anybody else that's not in a relationship or that has relationship pain that's unhealed, or if you're just happy, all of us are going to get to participate, but you don't have to sign up. If you're going to bring your honey, then you sign up. On March 10th, we're going to have our annual meeting. And our annual meeting is the members vote on the new officers that come forward. And we get to look back at all the wonderful things we did in 2012 and forward to the wonderful things we're going to do in 2013. And we will also have a borscht lunch that is a fundraiser for our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. So that's on the 10th. And then there is a Malini's Sweet Memorial Service this coming Saturday. That is February 9th. If you are coming, and if you have not yet RSVP'd, please sign up on Malini's list over there on the events table. We really do want sort of a count, and so if you've already RSVP'd, don't sign it. If you are coming and haven't RSVP'd, please do sign it. And if you can be a shuttle driver up the hill, because it's at CCC in Tiburon, and there's parking that's very limited at the top of the hill, please indicate that you can help us with the shuttle. And lastly, we have so many announcements today, but I want to tell you that the bookstore has new books, including the ones that I've been quoting, about the new world that we're moving into. So those are the announcements. Now I'm going to transition into the talk. Let's take a breath. That was a lot of announcements there. Okay, and thank you, Judith. So, our theme this year is the new world and the ancient path. And the wonderful artwork that we have that informs that theme for the whole year is this amazing Celtic cross that Jet Walker did. Thank you so much, Jet, for that. And you have a copy for yourself. There's some, do we have any in the bookstore? Okay, the copies that we have are on the newcomers table. You can take a paper copy, because every week, there it is. Thank you, Paula. That's your copy. There are 52 spokes on that wheel. And every week we are talking about a concept that is true for us now, as it was true for our ancestors, as it is true going into the new world and the shift into worldwide community that is already taking place. So the words that we have done in January so far are purify, threshold, and you can see them right there, partnership, and focus. So February is the month of dedication for our ancestors, and it makes so much sense when you think about the movement of the year, because we have gorgeous weather here all the time, pretty much, but even in those parts on the northern hemisphere that have severe winters, there is indication that spring is coming, even if the indication is only that there is more light than there was at the winter solstice. So the word for today is dedication. What are you dedicating yourselves to in the coming year? There was an ancient holiday called Imbolc that is a Celtic holiday that actually was yesterday. It's come down to us as Groundhog's Day, which is a very odd, holy day of the Puxatawny. What's the name of that hedgehog? Or anyway, you know the story, that if the hedgehog comes up and sees his shadow, that there will be more winter. And I think that the origin of that, because it kind of is counterintuitive, right? If it's sunny and there's a shadow, the weather's getting better. No. If he can't see his shadow, it means that the ancient goddess, Bridget, is walking on the land. And Bridget starts walking on the land when winter is almost over. Bridget loves all the growing things and all the little four-leggeds, and so here I'll be Bridget. And so Bridget is walking the land, and she sees her little brother, the hedgehog, coming up out of the ground, and she says, "Bless you, my love," and her great big shadow falls on him. So he can't see his own shadow. But he knows, because Bridget is on the land, that winter is almost over. Our ancestors on this day, on February 2nd, blessed the seeds that they were going to plant in the coming growing season. In a lot of the northern hemisphere, the ground cannot be plowed at this time of year. It's still frozen. But the seeds that were getting ready to be planted were blessed. So Bridget is, I want to do a little parentheses here. When I talk about the ancient pantheons and the gods and goddesses of hundreds and thousands of years ago, I want you to know that people were brought to the spiritual truth through every single one of those incarnations of the One. All of those holy, we call them myths now, but all of that holy presence that was personified by every single god and goddess that has ever been worshipped on this planet, all of those personas or archetypes were doorways through which our ancestors experienced the unchangeable truth of God, that we are divinely supported, that we are infinitely loved, that we are not alone, and that we are all kin. So when I talk about Bridget, I love Bridget, and she's a doorway for me and for others. And this goddess was not just in the British Isles, but a version of her was throughout all of Europe. And in fact, there is some evidence that she originally came from Egypt and then sort of moved across Europe and then culminated in the British Isles, where the Irish love her so much that they made her a saint. After Christianity hit Ireland, it was like, well, we love Bridget so much. Well, gosh, she must have been a saint. And so there's Saint Bridget, and with a lot of the same stories as the old goddess. So at this holiday time, fires in all of the hearths of a village were extinguished. And actually, this is such a sweet part of the story. The night before this holiday, all of the fires were extinguished. And this is uncommon because the fire was banked and kept hot the whole year long. So on February 1st, the fire was extinguished. And then a great fire was created in the holy spot, in the temple or the grove or the church later on. And all of the people of the village took the hot coals from the holy fire and then made their fire in their hearth anew. But on the morning of February 2nd, everybody looked around the fireplace to see if there was soot that had been tracked into the house. Because if there was soot that had been tracked into the house, they knew that Bridget had been there. So, when we think about the dedication that we can do today, because it's such a natural time of year to do that, it's the perfect time to rededicate ourselves to our own work. And when I talk about that, you can think about it in relation to the big work. I mean, like, really, what did you take birth for? Why in the heck are you here? That's your big work. But it's also the day-to-day work. Like, what are you working on healing now that would make you a more effective person in the world? What is your daily job? Are you taking care of a mate? Or are you taking care of children or grandchildren? That's part of your work as well. Mark Twain said, the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. So we all have a path, and that's the wonderful story of this altar. Also, this wonderful goddess figure, this is a Janet Ryan exquisite altar, by the way, and we have the path with a little indication of this is love. Love indicates what our path is, and then as we start following our path, the hearts get a little bit more intense, and the road actually rises to meet us. And so that's the theme of this altar. And this goddess is so amazing because in her golden state, one of the names for Bridget was the Bright One. And so how perfect that we have the Bright One right there on our altar. So the title of my talk today is Here I Am, Send Me. This comes from the book of Isaiah in the Old Testament. Now, Isaiah was a major prophet in the Old Testament. And prophets in the Old Testament were not so much those that told the future. They simply told the truth. They told the truth that you are one with God, that God loves you, that you are divinely guided, and that for you to pay attention to that is good for you. Otherwise, you'll feel separate and alone. And one of the words used in this verse in the Bible is unclean. It's a very Old Testament word, but it basically means bad. You feel really bad. So this quote comes from chapter 6 in the book of Isaiah, and it's actually the initiation of Isaiah into his role, into his path, into his life work as a prophet. And so he sees a vision of God, which is very scary for people in the Old Testament. I mean, if you see God, you are struck dumb. You are struck blind sometimes because it's just such a huge thing. So here he sees God, and above it, that's the throne with God on it, stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain he covered his face, with twain he covered his feet, and with twain did he fly. And the seraphim cried one unto another, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And so Isaiah is like frightened, and he says, oh, I'm not worthy of this, like they all do, right? You know, I'm unworthy of this. I can't do it. I'm unclean. I live with unclean people, and, you know, this is just not right. Don't ask me. And so the seraphim take a live coal. How nice for the live coal to be in this story too, and touch the lips of Isaiah. And he is, ouch, but he's clean. You know, then it, like all of this doubt just leaves him. And so I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, here am I. Send me. And so it's a story of initiation, of Isaiah taking his role as a major prophet and going out and speaking the truth to the multitudes. So this is actually a common theme when any of us get our vision in life and then say yes to it. So now I'm going to go to Ernest Holmes, our founder, and I'm going to read a meditation to you that is the same thing. It's the same thing of accepting a life path. And if you want to find it, it's on page 521. I serve the world, he writes. I wait upon the Lord within all men. I call forth glory from on high through the minds of all people. I obey the will of him who inhabits eternity. I do the works of him who dwelleth among the heavens. My Lord within commands, and I obey. Exactly the same story. The acceptance of a life path. So we sang first, Bodie and I picked these songs very, very consciously that we sing. I surrender my life to the love of God. When you accept your path, there is a feeling of surrendering to that. And there's actually two parts to this surrendering. There's a letting go and a taking up. The letting go is letting go of any other paths that you thought might be yours because you're really, really sure about what your path is. So it's the letting go of all other paths and the taking up of your path that you are absolutely dedicated to. And it's especially powerful when you have no idea how to do what you've just said yes to. I mean, do you think that Isaiah or Ernest Holmes knew what they were saying yes to? And so the bigger your vision for your life, the more help you get. That's the way it works. Now, there's something else about surrender that's really important, and that is the timing of the surrender is really key. And I'm going to explain the timing of surrender by quoting Deepak Chopra on another topic. The topic that Deepak Chopra is talking about is simplicity. And he says, I long for the simplicity on the other side of complexity. So let's think about that. When we're in beginning religion, it's pretty simple. There are a lot of rules, and you follow the rules. And then you move into this area of complexity where you get to think things through and say, well, is what I've been taught true? And is there something else that might be bigger? And what else might be going on here? And you kind of grapple with complexity, and then you get through complexity, and on the other side is simplicity. There's one life. That life is perfect. That life is God's life. That life is my life now. That's pretty simple. Surrender is the same kind of thing. There's surrender before dedication and surrender after dedication. If you surrender before dedication and you just say, oh, I don't know, I'll go for the highest and greatest for my life. I surrender my life to that. Well, what the heck does that mean? It's the surrender on the other side of realizing what your life is supposed to be that is really powerful. So that's what I want to help us with today. So let me get this. This is dedication. Got to get on track here with the PowerPoint. Maybe you like the idea, kind of dedication. I mean, it's intriguing, but you don't know what to dedicate yourself to. Or maybe you've finished up with something and you're still here in your body, so there must be more work to do. Or maybe you've gone along long enough and you're bored. There's all kinds of things that are ahead of the dedication. But this is the perfect time of year to do this, is to ask, what is it that I want to be dedicated to? What is my purpose for being here? And this is where the activity, we call it visioning here, but it's basically asking questions and then shutting up and listening. That's it. Asking questions to God and then shutting up and listening. Because what happens is you are opening to the one mind, and the one mind reveals itself to you. So let's start. Finding our purpose, okay? In order to find your purpose, you've got to start in joy or pleasure or love or peace, that intense well-being. So I ask you now to remember a time of joy or peace or pleasure or love. The reason this is important is that that is the natural energy of the life of God. And if you have surrounded yourself with consternation and saying, okay, all right, what is it? There is not a chance. I mean, there is a chance, of course, like Saul was knocked off his horse, but we don't ride horses now. But anyway, you start with love and pleasure. Then you ask questions like this. What would life have me do? And what life would have you do is not something so foreign that it feels unnatural or distasteful in any way. What life would have you do is what you came to do. And so sometimes it feels monumental, but it also feels right. And so the idea is to start in love and then just ask yourself, what would life have me do? And sometimes it's good to have a journal to write those answers. And to do it maybe more than once would be a good idea. Next question is, and you don't have to ask all these questions. These are the kinds of questions you ask. What skills do I have? Now, we all have skills that we've learned, but we also have innate skills. You have skills of loving and listening and connecting. You might have innate skills of creating order or peacemaking or seeing blessings. You have the natural way you are has skills associated with it. And maybe you are designed to give those in a bigger way. Another kind of question is, what of my gifts should be given? You know, in the New Testament, there's that verse about don't hide your light under a bushel. That's what this means. You have gifts to give. And if you don't give them, it's an unspeakable tragedy is what it is. Because you don't get to express what you came here to express, and the world doesn't get the benefit of your gifts. And so if you have gifts to give, it is about time to give them. Next question. What mastery wants to come through my hands or heart or mind? And if you feel that there is learning yet to do so that you can say, yes, I have mastery here and I am about giving it, get on with it. Take a class. Take a class here, take a class at the JC, take a community class, get a mentor, get a teacher, and get the mastery that you need to gain to give again. And then the last question is, what would I love to be and do? What would I love to be and do? I can't tell you again how important this is, because if you do not experience what you know you would love, that's what causes regret at the time of your last breath. It's not that you needed to spend more time at the office. It's that you didn't do what you came to do. I don't think there's a greater tragedy than that. And so that's what I'm asking you to do right now, is to ask yourself, what would I love to be and to do? So I'm going to tell you in a moment about the ritual that we're going to do, but I wanted to, since it's my own little pattern that I'm establishing for myself with you this year, that I give an example from the ancient past, which was our Bridget, and I give you an example from the new world that is already becoming. So you know that Suzanne Karch got us a subscription to Positive News. So I'm going to read to you right here. This is their vision and mission. Why Positive News? It brings hope, exemplifies solutions, inspires action. We envision a world in which people treat each other with respect and kindness, where we consider the earth to be our home to care for and to enjoy. And we see that this world is in the process of emerging. I want to associate myself with these people. Positive News is a reflection of this widespread movement and tells its powerful stories. So some of the headlines, just going through the headlines: Chinese standing up to growing pollution. Major manufacturer of consumer products to remove harmful chemicals. Online map charts rise of new economy. Switzerland named most eco country. Good news for the Amazon. Bhutan to become self-sufficient in vegetables. And solar energy could quadruple in 5 years. That's just some of the headlines. This is the world that is already happening. This is the world that we get on the coattails of and do our part. I posted something on our page on Facebook about the new paradigm that's already in the works. If you're not on that page, please go to the public page of Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living and see what I posted. And I'll also post it in the letter that I send out. So now let me talk to you a little bit about the ritual that is available for all of you to participate in after the service. So on the altar here, we have 3 bowls of wheat berries. These wheat berries are pretty much exactly like the wheat berries of the last 5,000 years that our ancestors would have blessed on this holiday. And so they're here for you to bless and to symbolically plant, because they will sprout, and to know that as they sprout, your dedication to your life path is also supported by the same energy. So this ritual of blessing the seeds is a Celtic people's ritual. And the Celtic people lived like right before and after the life of Jesus on this planet. So the use of grain, however, and this is I'm just in the midst of reading this book called Civilization 1. This is so unbelievably exciting that we'll get some for you for the bookstore. What this book says is that there's a wall of history. The wall of history is about 5,000 years ago. On this side of the wall of history is written language. And so we know a lot about the cultures that had a written language, starting with Samaria and Egypt. And we can find paths of connection right up to the present day in everything, in scientific experimentation, in religious thought, in social expression. Everything comes right up to the present. But on the other side of this wall of history, there was, of course, spoken language, but no written language. And so that's where the Neolithic age ends, is that wall of history. The Neolithic peoples, we don't have any written record of because they didn't have written language. But what this book shows is that there are researchers that are now going behind the wall of history and studying the mind of the megalithic builders of the great stone circles like Stonehenge. And what they find is that from the tip of the northern Scottish Islands all the way through Britain and into France, where there are stone circles and stone rows, they used an extremely uniform length to build everything. This length is about 80% of a meter. It's very, 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 very specific, out many, many numbers past the decimal point. But what they have determined is that those megalithic star watchers could replicate that length exactly by watching the path of Venus in the night sky. And what happened was, not only did they come up with a measurement that was replicatable throughout the islands, but that same visioning of the night sky created measurements of length, weight, and volume. And they can find the thread of commonality down through the years from the observation of Venus to the pouring of a pint of ale in a pub in England. Now think about that. What our ancestors did was look at the neighborhood in the night sky and replicate what they saw in the heavens to make their culture. Everything was holy. Everything is holy. So you'll be hearing more of this. But the other thing that I wanted to share with you is that barley became the shortest measurement of length and the lightest measurement of weight. Barley from 5,000 years ago. I would have brought you barley, but Whole Foods could not guarantee me that their barley would sprout. Wheat looks a lot like barley, and it will sprout. So as you do this ritual, know that you are participating with the mind of your ancestors that was just like yours. Just as much potential intelligence, same size, same ability to think through complex ideas. And you are bringing forth the energy of the land to create your life and dedicate yourself to your path. So there will be 3 practitioners up here, Marilyn Letzos and Gail Durkin and Janet Ryan. You come up to one of these practitioners and they will give you some of the wheat. Or you can they'll offer it to you. You take the wheat and then they will say to you, what is it that you want to do or be? And you tell them. And then they say, are you dedicated to this path? And you say you are. And then they will bless your seeds, bless your path, bless your dedication, and send you off to plant your seeds and the vision for your life. Let's now pray. And so, reaching back through the eons of time, I see a world of our ancestors, the stargazers, that extrapolated the pattern from the heavens to replicate on earth. The holy pattern that connects. The pattern that has come down to us in this time and this place. The pattern of oneness. And I see a new world that is emerging out of the seeming separation and differences into a world of commonality, a world of mutual concern and consideration, a world where once again it is us, not us and them. And as we make the bridge from our ancestors, who must have thought, not only is it us, the two-leggeds, but it is us, the stars, the stones, and the spring, and into our future, where we say, it is us, the stars, the earth, the spring, and our kin, all of us one. Blessed be.
Sitting on a bench one day, ask the Lord, teach me how. As I opened up my heart to you, came to me, where to you? Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. In those moments when I felt so close, must know the consequence of the path I chose. Time and time again I reach for the sky, only to remember the truth lies inside your heart. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. So I keep breathing one breath at a time. My spirit soars, I accept my fate. Loving you to loving me. In this balance lies the way me. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love. Let me feel your love, Lord. Let me feel your love.
Thank you.
It's time for our tithes and offering. So if the ushers would get in place there. And for us to just know that as we give, we are blessing this community and everyone in it. So just look around and you might just gaze at someone that you would like to dedicate your tithe to today. And know that we support one another, and so all of the gifts come to us. So thank you for giving, and thank you for being open to receive. And here's your next little present.
Carol's favorite song, I think.
May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may the goddess hold you in the hollow of her hand. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rain fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may the goddess hold you in the hollow of her hand. To receive it, blessed be. So before I ask Judith to come up and pray us out, I want to remind you that there's Malini's service to sign up for over here. There's classes to sign up for. There's new books in the bookstore to shop for. And there's your ritual here of becoming, dedicating yourself to your path. Blessed be. So Judith.
And I'd like to invite the practitioners to come forward. These wonderful beings dedicate their time to pray with you. Whether you have a joy on your heart or something that needs healing, please don't leave without talking to one of these women. And if the rest of the practitioners would surround the room. And prepare yourself in the mode that it's best for you to receive as we go into prayer. I take a moment to remember that there is only one presence and power. It is this thing that I choose to call God, but it is the absolute intelligence and life force that is contained in the smallest little barley seed and is in the monolithic stones of the stone circles that have been here from beyond when we arrived, but yet exist today and into the infinitesimal time of forever. That it is this energy, this light, this love, this creative power, which is the very essence of my life. That each thought and inspiration that comes to me about my life and what to dedicate myself toward is an inspiration of the divine. And each thought that I have about how to put that into action beyond that is part of the co-creative process that is constantly going on, as there is no separation between my mind and the divine mind. There is the one mind. And so it is in this recognition that I take a moment to just claim a shift in consciousness in this space and in this time, allowing for healing, for whatever might need to be healed for anyone in this room or beyond, whether that be a physical healing, an emotional healing, or a spiritual healing. That in this process of co-creation, that there is enough room for love to bend relationships. And I know that those relationships currently are being healed. That there is enough room for the right next step to be revealed, to allow for financial security and abundance and joy. And so as I stand here in the truth that there is really only one of us, that divine essence of the goodness of God, I know and I claim a shift in consciousness, allowing for that inspiration, allowing for that healing, allowing for that good to come forth and flow from us out into others and into the very realm that we live in. And so knowing that there is nothing left to do but to give thanks, I just give thanks and I let it be, and so it is. Amen.
So I invite you to stand now for our affirmation, our closing song, and then don't forget to wave at the beloveds in the camera. So right up here with me, I dedicate my life to my highest vision of my divine expression. I have unique and powerful gifts to give the world for the good of all and for my own great joy. I surrender now into this path. I am here. Send me.